Hey guys, today is September 26th, Monday. Bill, I know you uploaded a video on Saturday and that slightly confused me a little bit. But you clarified for me that you're now Saturday. Char is Tuesday. Last week I didn't answer anybody's questions because something was wrong with my subscription box, and so it didn't show any new videos for like 3 days. So the only question I remember currently is about Harry Potter. I only started reading the Harry Potter series in January this year. So I made a deal and I read the first book and it was really good, and so I've read the second to the fourth book. I'd seen the first movie, that was it. And so we re-watched the first movie and then watched second to the third movie, I think. I don't think we watched the fourth movie. We ran out of time. I haven't started reading the fifth one yet though, because I've been reading other books. This week's topic was about words and speech and stuff we say differently. I'm dividing mine into 4 parts because those are the 4 categories I came up with for things I say weird, or it's specific to moi. Me, and then Minnesota, and then tech crew, and then rock climbing is probably what I'm going to talk about. It is, not probably. I really need to become more, like, definitive. When I was little, I was tongue-tied, which is actually a medical thing. It's where the tissue that attaches your tongue to the bottom of your mouth is too long, and so it holds down too much of your tongue. So I had to get it snipped when I was 3, which is actually when I was like 2 or 3, which is older than most people get it snipped. So I had to relearn how to talk after that. It wasn't bad, but when I was in elementary school, my teacher still thought I said things weird, so I had to be in speech therapy 1st grade through 5th grade because I said my letters wrong. Mostly THs, SHs, CHs, and Rs, which is sort of the words you say weird when you have your tongue tied, so I think that's why it was. Also, my mom is from New York City, so I did learn mainly to talk for my mom with a New York accent. And I grew up in the South, so I learned was at daycare. So when I was at daycare, I was hearing words in a Southern accent, and then my dad's from the Midwest. So I have this weird conglomerate of things the way I say them. Also, I have a tendency to misread things, and so, for example, I did not realize that it was actually the Allegiance of Nerds. I thought it was the Alliance of Nerds because I am brilliant. That really deserves a head desk, but I don't want to go all the way down to my computer to head desk, because my bedroom's on the top floor, my computer is in the basement, and that's too much work. I thought the G was silent in Allegiance, so I was saying it as Alliance, and I think Char said Allegiance, and I was like, oh, it's a British term. And I was talking to my friend Molly about it, and she was like, wait, how do you spell it? I was like, I think we spell it like this. She's like, Casey, that's Allegiance, not Alliance. My friend Molly has actually started keeping a list of words that she thinks I say weird. So far on that list that I know of is button, Allegiance, because she had that one, pajamas, and background, because I say background instead of background. Also, I say, when I am talking about, oh, I picked up, like, crud, I am referring to germs or colds or illnesses that are going around my high school. So I picked up some crud, which is why I have a runny nose, and I apologize for sniffling throughout the video, especially if it grosses you out. Minnesota accents primarily have like long vowels, like don't you know, you betcha, and we say our T's as more D's instead, so that's why we say Minnesota instead of Minnesota. Most of the stereotypical Minnesota accents of like don't you know, you betcha, oofta, is more up north, so north of Twin Cities. I should explain Twin Cities so you know that. The Twin Cities is comprised of Minneapolis and St. Paul and their surrounding suburbs. The suburbs are called the metro area, and because it surrounds the 2 cities on all sides, you say what section of the metro you're from, like North Metro, the South Metro. So words that are sort of specific to Minnesota is pop, which I say. Hot dish. Hot dish is like a casserole, which is like ziti, if you don't know what a casserole is. I'm doing this motion because that's what my mom does when she makes tuna noodle casserole. She has a it sounds grosser than it is. It's actually really good, but she has like a circular pot thing that she makes ziti and tuna noodle casserole in. So I'm taking a theater production class this year in high school, so I am finally learning all the technical terms instead of saying, oh, it's the whatchamacallit that connects to the thingamadoodle that goes like blah 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 blah. And gesturing and jumping around while I describe this. It's quite entertaining. We have the capability to fly things at our high school's theater. Flying things is when you have a prop or a set piece that you have attach 2 cables and around chains to a batten, which you can pull up and down with ropes from backstage. And it goes into the fly house, which is the area above the stage that you can't see from the audience, and it's just hangs there, but it's not in use. We also have lights up there and stuff like that. Rigging is basically when we're attaching the cables and bolting things and putting the chains on the set pieces to fly them. Currently we're building the set for the fall play, so we're doing build crew right now. And at my high school, how it works is you have to do build crew to be eligible. You have to do build crew, which is help build the sets, to be eligible for running crew, which is basically you get to hang out backstage in your blacks, which is being in all your black clothing. So you get to hang out backstage and move stuff on and off. I don't think I'll be able to do running crew for the fall play because I don't think I've put in enough hours, and I also have climb team on Monday nights, which is why I'm shooting this on Sunday, as always. Another thing I want to talk about is climbing terms, because I love rock climbing, and I actually went outdoor rock climbing on Saturday, which is probably where I'm going to put the footage in to explain stuff, because it's easier to show things with pictures and have me explain them. I do gym climbing typically, but I went outdoor climbing on Saturday, and the different styles of climbing, but the same terms basically apply. I don't know how to explain this. It's really hard. Okay. I'm just going to start with something and you're going to have to trust me, and if you don't get it, I might explain it in a different video or a video on my channel. I don't know. But basically, top roping is when there is an anchor at the top and a rope goes through one side and down the other. And on one end, you tie your rope to your harness. And then on the other side, someone hooks a belay tool in, and they basically keep you from falling when you are climbing. Belaying is the person, belaying is basically keeping the rope taut and making sure that the person doesn't fall off the wall when they're rock climbing. This is me belaying. Climbing is a different style of using ropes to climb. Climbing is basically where there's no hard point at the top. There are carabiners there are carabiners attached to the wall that you hook the rope through as you climb up. I'm not allowed to lead climb yet. I'm not a good enough climber. But it's a little freaky because you fall further, and a lot of the lead climbing routes are harder than the level I'm climbing at. Bouldering is where you're climbing, you don't climb as high, so you only climb like 10, 15 feet, sometimes 20, depends on who you are. But bouldering is where you're climbing without a rope, and it's shorter routes. The crux is the hardest part of the route, and overhangs is where the wall is sloped, like that.
Try to climb up this little crack right here, and what I'll do is I'll just make sure you don't fall. I'll spot you is what it's called. As I said, you want to do that one first? One at a time, because I want to make sure you spot.
And then I fell a bunch. It was fun. And that's all I'm going to explain to you about climbing. One thing I do want to ask is, this week is my high school's homecoming week. So I don't know if your high schools do that. Homecoming it serves no purpose in high school. No one does come back for homecoming. Basically, it's an excuse for all of us to goof off. So we're having a school spirit week, and then Friday's the homecoming football game, and then there's the homecoming dance on Saturday, which I'm not going to because dresses and achy stuff. So I was wondering if your schools had homecoming stuff, especially you British folk. And I was also wondering if your schools are as into school spirit. You guys, DFTBA? Shar, I think I'm seeing you tomorrow, possibly, maybe, I don't know. I'm not drinking this either, it's expired.